Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now this week's tip is take advantage of other people's mistakes. What do I mean by that? Well, people love to get notes graded, and grading notes can be expensive, okay? Even if you send in a bulk submission, you could be talking $30 to $40 per note when you start dividing up all the charges like that. Now, some people, what they will do is they'll have 10 really good notes that they want to send in, and then they'll send in one note that is probably not quite worth it. And they figure, well, in the long run, it's going to average out, and it's worth it for me to get that note graded. And I disagree. If you have a note that's worth $50, $60, and you send it in to get graded, unless you got the note for like $5, you're losing out on that particular thing. People are just so quick to jump to get lesser valued notes graded. And I don't think that's a winning proposition, because then people like me, when you go to sell it, are going to look at that and they're going to realize that I can buy an ungraded note that's supposed to be worth $50, $60, $70. I can buy the ungraded note for maybe $40, but if I spend $10 more, I can buy the graded version. And that's kind of what I did this week. So yeah, when you're buying notes that are, under $100, maybe you want to consider paying an extra $10 or so to get the graded version, because like I said, that way you don't have to send it up to get graded. Somebody else already paid all those fees. So that's my tip for this week, especially with the lower valued notes. And I say lower, $100 or less, because at that point, you're talking, almost half the value of the note would be tied up in the grading in and of itself. So yeah, if you can score a graded note where the note itself is valued at under $100, that's something to consider versus the raw note. All right, I've got my 1,000 singles. Let's get those out of the way and take a look at what I found this week. Found a Where's George. Don't recognize this. It's got a turkey on it. That's kind of neat. I have seen this kind of thing, and I have seen this with the arrows here, but with the turkey, that's a new one, so I will check that one out. Found some trinaries, 0s, 6s, and 9s, and this would also be a flipper. Not a true rotator, but yeah, 0s, 9s, 6s. It's a trinary, and if I flip it over, we can see 6, 9, 9, 6, 6, 6, 0, 0. The reason why I say it's not a true rotator is a true rotator will read the same upside down. So you've got 0, 0, 9, 9, 9, 6, 6, 9. Well, if I flip it, it doesn't start with 2 zeros anymore. It starts with 6, 9. The comparison to be made with this would be comparing a binary to a true binary. A true binary is 1s and 0s. A binary is just any serial number with 2 digits. So that's kind of the way to look at it. When people started collecting fancy serial numbers, a true binary, 1s and 0s, was really cool. And also really hard to come by. So people would identify a 2-digit serial number and call that a binary as well. And obviously there's a lot more of those. There's quite literally 10 times more of those because there's that many more digits. But yeah, a true rotator, you should be able to flip it and still read the same serial number. That's what makes those extremely valuable. These are more of an oddity. Yeah, I'm saving this because it's a trinary. I wouldn't have saved it because it's a rotator. But trinary, yes. A true rotator, that I would have saved. Another trinary here. This is 1s, 4s, and 6s. It's got 5 4s on it. That's kind of interesting, but I'm more impressed when the 5 of a kind are together. 3s, 5s, and 7s on this one. And okay, I had to double check to make sure that wasn't a radar. Whenever you see the 2 digits in the center, that's my first clue that it's a radar, but this one is not. 0s, 7s, and 8s on this one. 2s, 4s, and 6s. 2s, 3s, and 5s, 1s, 4s, and 5s, and quad 1s right there, quad 1s. And if I look real close, there's a little bit of over inking, a little bit of green ink on here. Not enough to be considered an error, but I saw it, so I pointed out. Yeah, if anything, that's another thing. When you see stuff like this, that's not going to cause it to be graded as an error. In fact, quite the opposite. When you start grading bills, when you grade notes, once you're over 60 and you're in the basically mint state, when you're in the uncirculated state, then they're looking at different things about the bill, the centering, the quality of the inking, things like that. So for this to have an over inking on it, that means even if this bill was in perfect condition, it would still never get a 70 grade. So that actually detracts from the grade. Another quads, quad 3s, quad 4s on this one, quad 5s, quad 6s, quad 9s. And then I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a kind, 5 2s on this. That's the way I like to see 5 of a kind. Did find stars, 2017A, 2017. Always checking to see if you've got a filled star. These, they're not. They were both really crisp, and I was thinking, are these consecutive? Another 2017. Another 2017. And another, now we go to 2013. Couple zeros to start that, so maybe. 2013 as well. And some older notes, 2001, 1988A, looking to see if it's a web note. It's not. It's got some writing on it, so it's probably going to go away. And the oldest note I found this week, was a 1963A. I've got high hopes for this because I don't run into a lot of 1963As, so I will be checking this to see if it fills a spot. Yeah, not in the greatest of shape, but still, one of the tougher series to find. You can find 1963B, the bar notes, and you can find the 1963s because that was the first year that they did this particular design. But the 1963A, not one that was highly saved, so I always get excited finding one of those. All right, so that's what I found this week. What did I pull out? Well, I did make a new purchase by popular demand. I showed my completed series sets, and I was simply trying to show my Federal Reserve banknote denominations set. And that's when I noticed I was only missing one to complete the Chicago set. So I picked one up. This is the Federal Reserve banknote from Chicago, 1929 $10 note. Now, what is this? This is not a Federal Reserve note. The notes that we have in our pocket now are Federal Reserve notes. They're guaranteed by the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve says our money is worth something. We believe them, and so does the rest of the world. Good enough for me. But our money used to be backed by silver. Our money used to be backed by gold. Our money used to be backed by legal tender, laws, which was, you'd have bonds and stuff like that to back the notes. And then prior to that, we also had national banknotes. National banknotes were backed by individual banks. A Federal Reserve banknote is a note that was backed by the Federal Reserve Bank, and this specifically was backed by the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So you have the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So it's technically a national currency because it's a national banknote. Obviously, the Federal Reserve Bank isn't a national, it's a federal bank. But still, you understand the idea. It was printed on the same plates as national banknotes. That's why it has that particular logo on it. And if you look real close, it was from 1929. Now, Federal Reserve banknotes. Okay, they made notes for all 12 reserves, just like they do with Federal Reserve notes. But like I said, the monetary value is given to this because this particular reserve bank was the one backing it. These are also known as brown seals. You can see the brown seal over here. And yeah, this one is in pretty good shape. Take a look at the back. You've seen this before. This is what they all look like on the back. Now, I was trying to complete this set. Like I said, I didn't realize that the Chicago note, the $10 Chicago note, was the only one I was missing. So I started looking on eBay, knowing that I'd find some of these on there because it isn't an extremely valuable note. And when I was looking, I saw a bunch of them that were raw, and the raw price was anywhere from a bid of $13, which, would have easily escalated to 25, 26, somewhere in that range, upwards of, $30 to $40. In fact, I even made an offer on a note that was probably a 20, and I offered the guy $30, and he came back and says, well, about $37.50 or something to that effect. And well, I kept looking, and I saw this graded note for $60. Okay, so once again, this one guy wanted $40 plus shipping, so you're talking $45, and for $15 more, I can get a note that not only is in better condition, but it's graded to prove that. So yeah, $15 extra is all I paid to get from a 20 to a 30 and have the proof. So how well did I do? Well, let's take a peek. Let's look at the book, see what the book has to say. Of course, I have paper money of the United States. That is the book I refer to. And you can see Federal Reserve banknotes. There is the 10. And my particular one is from Chicago, so I will turn the page, and we will see what it says about Chicago. Right here, that would be 1860G, and in VG8, it's 40. In 12, it's 52.50. In 20, it's 60, and in 40, it's 75. So somewhere between 60 and 75 would be my 30, 60 and 75. So even if I call this one $65, I only paid 61, including shipping. So I still got this cheaper than what I should have, and it's graded. Now, once again, the process of grading, this person got $61 from me. We're not going to talk about eBay's fees. They had to spend 40 of that dollars to get the note graded in the first place. So they would have had to have bought this note for either face value or for $20 in order to even break even on the note. And like I said, they wouldn't have because eBay has their fees. So yeah, it's stuff like this that you want to look out for when you're doing some buying, especially for the lower price notes. I saved myself the grading fee, and I basically got a note that is easily worth this much, and it's like having it graded for free. So yeah, pay attention to stuff like that. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.